I have some explaining to do. I basically was doing some fact checking on my whole debt-free journey, and I realized how much money I actually sent towards my debts in the past 4 years. And it's a bit of a difference from the number that I had originally been using, mostly because my second video ever on YouTube was just me going through my $146,000 of debt that I had pretty soon after graduation. That number doesn't really count all of the interest that I have paid off, but I thought it was just like the perfect number to use for my debt-free video and like how much I had paid off throughout my debt-free journey, because that's how much debt I incurred. That's how much debt I got myself into. The interest that stemmed from that debt while I was paying it down, it didn't really matter as much to me. I just really liked the idea of paying off the amount that I had started with, and so that's why I had my $146,000 of debt paid off in 4 years, and that's what I did. So right now I want to go through the full breakdown of my debt, including the interest, and I just wanted to document this whole breakdown because I want to be transparent about these numbers. For the most part, my debt had interest on it, and it didn't just freeze for 4 years. I constantly had something working against me, and I want to be very honest about what that was and how much I actually ended up paying off, if you haven't read the title yet. Alright, as many of you know, I graduated in May 2018, and at that point I had taken out 4 private loans for each year of undergrad, and then 2 federal loans for each year of undergrad, 1 subsidized and 1 unsubsidized loan. The first private loan that I ever borrowed in 2014 when I was 17 years old was $17,100. The next private loan in 2015 was $20,315. The private loan in 2016 was $21,097, and the private loan that I took out in 2017 was $18,000. 2 of those loans had an interest rate, I think, above 7%, and then the other 2 had an interest rate of a little bit over 10%. So these were all fixed rates, and that was because, you know, my mom was helping me through that whole process. We didn't want the interest rates to like shoot up, basically, and so that was just like the best fixed rates that we could get, unfortunately. For my federal subsidized loans from 2014 to 2017, the amounts that I borrowed were $3,500, $2,859, $5,500, and $5,500. Unsubsidized loans, meaning that the government wasn't covering the interest while I was in school, so it was accruing interest, from 2014 to 2017 were $2,000, $3,641, $2,000, and $2,000. Although the federal loans had a much lower interest rate compared to the private loans, thank goodness. Not terrible, but you know, it is interest that is accruing over time. When I finally did graduate, I had a job lined up after school. I got a car lease, I got an apartment. There were a lot of expenses coming up. My car was worth like $23,000 or so, and then if you add taxes onto it, it's a bit higher. I ended up getting it on a lease, and my mom covered, I think, like a small down payment. It was like $1,000, and taxes and fees were all covered. What I actually ended up borrowing, I guess, for the car lease was $11,242, and this was in May, before I had even gotten any paychecks, which is why my mom was helping me with it. And my monthly payment ended up being $309.27, I believe. But then I moved to Pennsylvania and registered my car there, and my monthly payment, this was so dumb, like just went up to $336 because the taxes that we had paid on the car in New Jersey were not Pennsylvania taxes, and since I registered the car in Pennsylvania, I had to pay Pennsylvania taxes too. And this was just really dumb and could have been avoided if I had just bought the car in Pennsylvania, but no. No, I did not do that. It's all good though, because I ended up moving my car back to New Jersey and I didn't have to pay taxes here, so whatever. Anyway, that was my car lease debt. Just the lease portion at least. And then when I finally faced all my debts, I realized how much interest had accrued on them. So in August 2018, I signed into my federal student loan account, and I saw that the balance was $27,865.95. So it was a little bit higher than what I was expecting, just seeing the whole total, because when I was borrowing these loans, I would see like, you know, like the $3,000, $5,000 values. I would not see $27,000 together. And I've mentioned this in previous videos, that number kind of shocked me. Definitely scared me, and it, you know, prompted me to go through this whole exercise of getting my life together. I guess it was good in a way, but I made that payment, you know, in August just to pay down all of the interest on the federal account. So that interest was paid off pretty quickly, but it is part of the debt that I ended up paying down. The next thing I looked at was how much interest had accrued on my private student loans, and I had a pretty good idea of what it was, but then when I finally consolidated those private loans, I was able to lower the interest rate to 7.79%, and the balance on that account was $96,579. So even though I borrowed a total of $103,512 in both federal and private student loans, there was a lot more interest that had accrued over that time and continued to accrue for the next 4 years. The other debt that I got myself into was that while I was paying down my federal student loans, I decided to open up a credit card that had 0% APR for 15 months so that I could then start putting my typical monthly expenses on it, carry a balance, and that didn't really matter to me because I was not gonna borrow any more money, and so like the credit score to me did not matter at all. I paid off my loans and then I was faced with like $10,000 of credit card debt. Although I put my regular monthly expenses like car insurance, groceries, utility bills I think I could pay on a credit card at that point. I also bought a dog, but I purchased him with debt and I'm so disappointed in myself for that. But it happened, and I bought all of the puppy equipment for him. I got my mom like a nice Mother's Day gift, and like I just was swiping my card, not really thinking about it because I knew that I was gonna plan to carry this balance to save on interest on my student loans. Then I ended up having like almost $10,000 of credit card debt, and the minimum payment on the card, by the way, was like the higher of I think 10% of the balance, or like 35 bucks. So I wasn't paying that much in minimum payments anyway. So if we add that all up, $11,124 for my car lease, $9,918.21 for my credit card debt, and then $138,417.28 for all of my student loan debt and all of the interest that I had accrued during undergrad and during my debt-free journey. That was $138,417.28. When you add everything up, all of the interest that I had paid, all of the principal I have paid, by April 6, 2022, it ended up being $159,459.49 total. That's the total amount of debt that we paid off. And I say we because my mom helped me pay off my debt. And a lot of you know this. She started helping me make student loan payments in July of 2021. And this was because I was also helping my parents, you know, be on a budget. They started helping me pay off my own debt. So yeah, I just wanted to go through this very specific debt breakdown because I even surprised myself by how much I had paid off. In my head, it's still like $146,000 in 4 years, but it's so much more when you include all of the interest that accrued after graduation. And it just goes to show you how much debt can work against you even if you're actively trying to pay it down. I know that in a previous video, I actually went through just my student loan interest and it was like $34,000 of interest. And yeah, it's not much different from then because I had refinanced my student loan so many times, but if I hadn't, so much money wasted on interest. But yeah, I just wanted to go through this real life example with real numbers and how much I had working against me during this time, despite having, you know, the most help I could have ever imagined from my parents. So I want to make that very clear to all of you that I did not do this alone. If I had, it would have taken me at least until August 2022. Like I would still be in debt now. And if I didn't have the ability to move back in with my parents and send even more money towards debt, you know, I'd probably still be in debt for 2 more years. And can you imagine the amount of interest that would continue accruing? I'd probably keep refinancing my loans, as you guys know. But yeah, it's just a lot and it's unbelievable to see this number, you know, almost $160,000. Like I've said before, I have never been prouder of like anything else I've done. Good luck to all of you who may still be trying to pay down debt. I'm not gonna say that if I did it, you can do this too, because everyone is in a different situation. But I believe if you have a good enough motivation, a good enough why, that will not only motivate you, but it will keep you disciplined, which is much more important.